Welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast.
It's not over because that bitch is dead.
Let's delve into that a bit deeper.
I'm going to be like the peacekeeper between you two tonight.
Don't fuck with the original.
Yeah, don't fuck with the original.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Horror Friendly Podcast. My name is Katie, and I am joined yet again, as always, by my two lovely co-hosts, Charlie and Chantel. And Charlie is back.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not always the three of us,
Not.
Katie, because sometimes some of us disappear and have other commitments or can't get fucking Wi-Fi in our hotel. So
You're right. How rude of you to take a holiday. Just absolutely unacceptable.
How was the
I was trying so hard I watched the movie on the flight. I had it all prepared and I had no signal for 5 or 6 days.
That's what we were saying. We made you watch a horror film for no reason, basically.
Essentially, yeah. Woo!
So this week we decided to do the 2005 Saw 2. So Officer Eric realizes that Jigsaw is back to playing his evil tricks of locking down people and gruesomely torturing them. Eric has to find a way to set his son and others free from Jigsaw's prison. Charlie, first time watching it, first thoughts?
No, this isn't my first time watching it. This is probably my 20th time watching it. This one is, I think, apart from the first one, this is probably my favourite Saw movie. And I'm going to say the first one is only because I feel like the first one is a standalone movie in itself. Whereas this one, obviously, there's so many sequels. I mean, we're coming up to number 10 in like a few months' time. I feel like this one was always my favourite and always sort of my go-to above the original one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just love this film. I think it's really clever. It ties in nicely with the first one. Like they've obviously got the little glimpses of it, like the room at the end and things, but and also the reintroduction of Amanda as well. But yeah, like this is I really enjoy this film. I think it's very clever. And fucking hell, it is so 2000 it hurts as well. How about you guys? What did you make of it? Or Katie?
Or me. I don't remember when I first watched this. It was a while ago though, but I hadn't watched it in a while. But yeah, I actually really liked it. I liked the little plot twist at the end, and the characters, all of that. It had such a the budget was such a jump from the first one to the second one.
Yes.
Which is good because in a Saw film you want a fucking massive budget to stay with. Yeah, it was so good, and some of the best traps I think in all of the films really. Like you've got the famous fucking needle pit and all of that. So yeah, no, I thought it was I really liked it. I really liked the ending as well. Yeah, I actually rate this film. I quite like the Saw films really, apart from maybe like the more sort of modern ones. They're a bit shit. These ones are good. So
these ones I feel like are more original.
Yeah,
in a way. Like the later ones I feel like they go so over the top with traps.
Yeah, they do.
Whereas these ones are a bit more simple and a bit more just horrific in like what they actually do.
Yeah. What do you think, Tal?
Yeah, no, I like the as you said, I quite like the ending, the sort of like reveal and how it's all connected, and the fact that it's like a bloody, I'm gonna get the word wrong, but when you do like a heist film and you're like, oh, this actually already happened, and you've been watching pre-recorded videos the whole time, like that kind of twist was quite clever. Didn't see it coming. And obviously bringing back Amanda, I think was quite clever.
Yeah,
like as you say, the later Saws can get a little bit like
3D when they
and they're just kind of doing it for the sake of it. I think at this point, I remember when the Saws came out, and I don't know if you guys sort of did as well, because obviously, I mean, this was 2005. We were like 11. So we were probably too young to be
We were
watching.
starting in secondary school.
Yeah, like we were too little, so it was like. But I remember them being a thing, and everyone just saying like,
Yeah.
such a disgusting idea. Like the guy's just hurting people for the sake of it. And so when I actually got to like a bit older and I wanted to watch them, and I was like, oh my god, what am I walking into? What horrible thing is this going to be? And I never know now when you watch it if you're like, oh, okay, that is quite clever, or if I should be disgusted.
I mean, as 11-year-olds, we probably should have been disgusted.
I mean, I feel like even now there's a fine line because you're like, some of those people probably do not deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like fucking putting a kid in there. Like, I mean, again, yeah, we'll talk about this as we work through, but it is just funny when you do sort of, obviously we had that impression first of like everyone else's opinion before we'd even watched it, I think. So I still have that kind of, when I watch the Saw films, that there's always that almost like taboo around them where they're like, oh, they're just so extreme compared to like other horrors and it's just gore for the sake of gore. But I don't really feel like that. I feel like there is quite a good story there and quite a clever
Yeah.
twist. So I know a lot of people didn't approve of back then, but it's there.
I think it is as well, like you were saying, the storyline in this one, it's a lot stronger than what it is in some of the sequels where they do go off and try and put in like a prequel and this and that and whatever. And I think that's what also like helps this movie stay strong within itself as well.
Yeah.
Obviously they're coming off the first one, so they've got the budget on this one. But they haven't tried to redo the first one either, which I think's really worked. They have gone for like a pretty much a completely different storyline, just following the same sort of idea that this guy wants to test people and sort of how far they'll go.
Yeah, it is pretty much that, isn't it? Like people are still being tested, but again, it's just that difference of like bringing a whole group together rather than two people, or like seeing people, because obviously we always kind of see the small snippets, and we start with that guy like on his own doing his own test. That one fucking sucks.
I think especially for you, Tell, that one sucks.
That's
you're not an eye girl, are you?
I'm not. Don't like touching my eyes. I keep rubbing my eye because I'm like, no, don't go fucking near them. That for me, like I swear to God, if like that's the problem. If I was in a Saw maze, literally all they'd have to do is that, and I'm like, great, I'm dead then, because like it would take me more than a minute to work up the courage to fuck with my own eye, even though my eye was already messed with. Like, and that guy, obviously, once he starts panicking and moves forward, he's only got a minute to build up that courage, and that's not long enough for me. Like, as already a mental block, that'd be a problem. So, I mean, you can giggle, but can you tell me with like no notice you'd cut your eye out within a minute?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a huge sacrifice. It would take me a long time.
Yeah. It's like that. It's not so much like I couldn't live without an eye, because if I lived, it would be fine.
Yeah,
but it's like
it's the pain of doing it.
Yeah,
it's not even the pain. Is
it not?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit the pain, but the fact I've got to get a blaze that I can see getting closer and closer to my own eye. I mean, you can't see it because your eye is all blood. Like his eye was all bloodied up from the surgery, which might help. But again, like you think. If you've got to take a scalpel to your own fucking eye so you can see it getting closer, like how is that? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things I think I could do to myself, because that sounds really stupid, but like no, but there's also one where they cut the arm off and you're like
the leg.
Well, yeah, and it's a bit
quite intense.
Okay, I take it back, because some of them are like
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but some of them are like bone saws and it would take a while, so I'd have to be like, fuck, this sucks. If it was like cutting off a finger and it took a second, that'd be a bit different. But your eye, you're gonna have to dig around. It's just so many layers to it. I just can't do it. That, like, as soon as it comes on and as soon as his minute starts, I'm like, well, he's dead, and so am I, and that's just shit. But that's it. Ooh. I don't think everyone's okay with their eyes, or anyone who is okay with their eyes, even they watch that and go, no, that's too far.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who looks at that and goes, that looks like a great day.
Yeah, but I suppose you see all the Saw traps and you're always just like, fuck that. But
true.
I guess you're kind of like, you can kind of think like, oh, there's something will come out of this. Whereas like with your eye, or if you're like, literally severing apart, like, which is obviously a lot of the Saw traps, it's when it's when you actually have to come to do something, it's like fucked.
Yeah. But I mean, there was a lot of them in the maze that were just fucked. Like they were designed to kill, and it's the point of the Saw maze has always been, or a Saw game is there's always meant to be a way to survive. But even that first one with the oven, how was he meant to survive that?
Well, not get greedy and go for 2 of them.
Well, no, but the point of getting the second one was to save other people. So how is that getting greedy?
Well, it's to work as a team. So he could have called out the other side if he had sort of not been panicked and been burnt up on his legs and that.
I thought the other side was where the fire was.
No, the fire started behind him, but there was like a door on the other side that they smashed open that he could climb out of.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was at his feet, the door bit.
No, I think that was so the fire had caught up with him at that point.
Oh, I
so
see.
It was too late to like smash him out.
Like all of them, they didn't need to do that because if they just looked on the back of their neck, the code was just there. They could have spent the next 2 hours just working out the order.
And that's
but they all knew each other.
It's like an escape room, like except they didn't know they were playing an escape room. And again, they put how many of them were there? 7 people in a room, 8 people in a room, and it was like deliberately picked some aggressive people who weren't going to work together.
Yeah, how much of a cunt was Xavier?
Yeah,
Xavier.
To go to like
gave me a bit ick.
Like his fucking trap was the fucking needle pit. Sorry, I'm swearing so much. His was the needle pit, and then he just throws Amanda in it. Such cunt behaviour.
That's just the worst. And the actual actress was terrified of needles.
Really?
Yeah. She had an absolute phobia of needles, the actress. So that whole scene is probably real. Like, there's probably not even acting. She's probably just genuinely fucking terrified. When she gets lifted up, like, you know what he's about to do, and it's just like, watching it, you're like, great, there's nothing I can do to help you right now.
And just known as well, like, falling on anything, let alone, you can't even put your arms out with, like, needle, like, if you get in front, because
you're just fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I talk to someone about Saw, it seems to be like the needle pit is the one that a lot of people are
the glass shards with the wrists.
Yeah, there's a lot from this one that I think people do that people take from it that are one of like the iconic Saw traps, like the needle pit and the glass thing. I think
the needle pit one is the one from this though.
Oh my god, the actress was also pregnant during filming.
No.
Like, so not
it was probably a stunt double for the needle bit, but obviously
probably getting a load more money. She's getting on with it.
Sorry. Thank
you. Bless you.
No, I remember reading it somewhere that she was absolutely terrified of them. Gelatin and a little water were added to the needle pit to make the syringes look more movable and slippery. Oh, they literally did everything they could to make that pit look as terrifying as possible. Oh, and it took approximately 120,000 syringes to complete the needle trap pit trap.
Needle pit trap.
We got there in the end. That's just like
needle trip.
Tipsy tail is on it already.
She does have quite a few already. She does impress. She got her laptop.
The needle trip.
I love how she brings up a glass of wine. So
it'll be empty in a minute, don't you worry.
I've made her an alcoholic.
Oh, it's getting worse. The more I've literally got open like a bunch of facts, and they're getting worse.
Don't keep that in the episode.
It's fine.
Make it seem like you researched it before.
I definitely researched it before. I didn't forget my facts.
Yeah, I definitely did, just like Iron BD.
Yeah, definitely not. So when shooting the needle pit scene, a handful of real needles fell into the pit, thus causing the crew to halt filming and find the needles before filming could commence. Therefore, they were literally searching for needles in a needle pit. So they had to figure out which ones were the real ones and which ones were the fiber ones. Really, what did you do at work today? Oh, well, I did just try and figure out which needles were real. But the thing is, if you dropped the needles, would you have even known how many you were looking for?
Why was there real ones there when they...
So they replaced the tips. So it took 4 days for 4 people to replace all of the syringe tips with fiber tips. So again, like, okay, was one person still working on like a bunch and they fell in? But if you were working on a bunch, would you know how many were on the tray that you dropped? Like, this is getting worse and worse.
I feel like the whole episode is just going to be talking about the needle pit.
Yeah, like nothing else happened in this film. Nothing else even matters in this film right now. Oh, it's so scary.
So with the whole Amanda thing,
Yeah.
So I'm probably being dumb.
That's fine.
But was it that she knew about this whole thing?
Yeah.
And she was acting as if she
Yes.
her again. Yeah.
Yeah, because she obviously had to protect, I forgot the son's name, but she had to protect him because obviously otherwise they couldn't the copper. Because if he'd got killed,
then he would have killed Jigsaw.
Yeah.
But they need to keep him and Jigsaw just put the copper in the trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep the kid alive. Right, okay. Because I did think that, and I was just kind of like, well, maybe she kind of suddenly then went along with his plan, but it would make sense if she was in on it. She was like a really sick actress at the beginning. She seemed like genuinely traumatized. She was back there.
Maybe she didn't.
She was like, I've played this game before, and she was like really fucked up.
You have to stick by the rules.
So that's why I was kind of like, oh, maybe she's kind of slowly been brought back into it, but I might have got that wrong.
I don't know. Have you never been in an escape room when they've had like an actor in there that's giving you clues along the way?
I've never done an escape room.
Oh, mate. Right.
It feels like hell. I don't want to fucking do it.
We're gonna do a story.
I feel like my anxiety will just like go to like I mean it's pretty high anyway.
It's okay. They leave the door unlocked. Every escape room, they literally have to leave the door unlocked because they're like, in case you actually can't get out.
I don't know if I'm clever enough for an escape room.
We'll do it.
We'll just safely.
Oh yeah, definitely get locked in then.
I've done 2 escape rooms and I've got out both times. But my thing with Amanda, I actually wonder if she didn't know, but maybe Jigsaw had said to her, you need to keep this boy safe. And then she'd got knocked out and woke up there and was like, you motherfucker, you've put me in a trap. And all she knew was she had to keep her kids safe, but didn't know it was going to be during a game, because obviously when we see her at the end and she's much calmer, it's actually been quite a while since she's come out of it. So she's had time to kind of calm down again. But it's quite a risky move for him to put her in there anyway, because he didn't know. Like, Xavier could have easily killed her.
Easily.
Like, he was not messing around.
And Jigsaw wasn't around. He was still dealing with the guy, the police guy.
He was in his office.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't... What was he going to do, though, if he actually was watching it and Amanda was at risk? Was he going to shoot the guy? Like,
also, though, it was delayed, wasn't it?
It was delayed.
Yeah, because he was in the box. The box was right there next to them.
Yeah, okay. So if Amanda had suddenly started being at risk and the boy, was he just going to kill the person who was going to hurt them? Like, how was he controlling this?
I think it was a couple of days before.
Yeah.
And then knew that he was going to get caught, but the boy was in the safe right next to him. All he had to do was...
No, I get that. But when it was originally being recorded, so Amanda is in the present day, in the room, or in the maze, in the house, Amanda and the boy are in there. And Xavier's obviously losing his fucking shit. How was Jigsaw going to stop them actually being killed for the next part of the plan? Or was, if it had failed, is he going to be like, sorry, cop, I killed your son? Like, where was the control?
Nah, Jigsaw sort of knew. He knew.
So, like, because that was the thing. Amanda was his insurance to keep the kids safe.
Yeah.
But actually, she was no guarantee because Xavier was fucking losing his mind. Like, he could have easily killed them both.
But if you remember him in the first one, he's in the actual room, but he had like a little tasery thing, didn't he? That he press to. So I reckon he was still able to like watch over, or had access to watch over from like a live stream.
Unless I'm saying maybe Amanda actually did have something more with her, but it just seems really risky to have given her anything. Because if one of them had found it, again, they could have easily turned it around on her.
Yeah.
As far as, and again, it can be assumed she didn't need an antidote because, again, when everyone else is like coughing and everything, she's not. So it can be assumed she wasn't poisoned. But was there a way for him to have controlled that? Could he have sped up their poison? Like, I don't think so. Once you've kind of taken it, it's going to take effect. He could have controlled that, surely.
Yeah. yeah, surely he had control of everything. And
Yeah, it feels weird that he'd have given up that control, but then his
But
control
also-
was Amanda. But
Also, the guy that he hired to put them into that house was in the house. So I reckon Amanda got that guy into the house.
One is my gift to you for helping me kidnap the others. The second is yours to donate.
And Amanda was the last one to wake up as well. So I reckon Amanda's been antidoted and knocked out at the same time.
It's all a bit mad, isn't it? Because it's like, actually, did she have a? Because you know, like you said, oh, that guy's thing was the needle pit. Did she have a challenge, or did we just not see it?
There's a few of them. I don't think we saw their challenges, if they did have any.
Maybe I guess Amanda didn't have one because of that. It was all kind of,
I suppose hers was to keep
orchestrated that way, that she didn't have one.
Hers was just keep the kid alive.
Keep the kid alive, yeah. And because he didn't have one, and I suppose like at the end it was like those two against Xavier. But yeah, maybe, I don't know, Jigsaw was that clever that he was kind of like, well, this guy has that kind of personality. He's the one that's gonna break first and, like, you know, aggressively trying to sort of like find the answers. I don't know. Maybe he purposely left out traps for them, because if Jigsaw was planning a trap for Amanda, it would be one that she could escape from.
True.
It would be a setup one, I suppose, because he needs Amanda because he's
or her challenge is the fact that she's back in that house in that situation.
Yeah. And
like as you say, like mentally she's fucked up at that start bit. Or I thought of it, she wasn't expecting to be back in the house. She thought she only had to get that one guy in the house that was put the other guys in the house. And obviously then she's woken up in the house, but she already knew of the plan. And that's why she started going along with. Does that make sense?
Well, this is what I'm saying. I think she knew she had to keep the boy alive, but I don't think she knew she was going to be a player.
Yeah.
Woke up like pissed off and was like, you have to play the game.
Yeah.
Again, she was like, because when it was the flashbacks and she was like, I've not been nice to myself, she was talking to Jigsaw, but I don't know if then it was sort of like agreed and decided that, oh, you're going back in, FYI.
Yeah, just let you know.
Well, she had a whole story, like she was self-harming, wasn't she? So you kind of like you believe it from then on that maybe she's been putting it again, which is like so cruel. But you kind of think, well, Jigsaw put a kid in there, he'll do everything else. You kind of think like it would be interesting to have a surviving victim back, but then obviously you know about the ending. So yeah, it's hard because you kind of think, okay, well, she's been self-harming, she's been doing this, she's been given another chance at life, so maybe he put her in on purpose. But then she's also part of this plan, so you never really know when like it starts to get.
She comes back, so she has another challenge, I'm sure, like another game. Like, is she the only?
Yeah, in the third one.
Yeah, she has like a third game. So I'm pretty sure, like, is she like the only person to have survived multiple?
So she does another game, does she? I thought this was her. Oh, okay.
So there's massive spoilers for, I think it's number 3. She takes over, but there's like a final challenge because she keeps setting challenges that are unsolvable. Yeah. So
this is where the pig comes in.
Yeah, because then she messes up and she dies, and then so she's the only person to have actually survived 2, and then failed, but she fails a third one. Because as far as I know, nobody else comes back for another challenge. Question mark? I will have to watch them all because I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure she is the only one who keeps coming back.
I do have a story about the pig costume.
Go on.
We can't mention the name because we all went to school with him. I'll tell you, and we'll edit this out. But I was at a party once. I'm pretty sure it was one of Tel's Halloween parties, and this guy was wearing the pig costume from Saw, and it was quite hot in the house, and he just kept taking it off like, I'm so hot. And he would put it back on, and it was like he was literally about to pass out.
Was that I actually think I remember that.
Like literally he took it off and he was like dripping with sweat.
Ooh.
And
it was so fucking funny.
But if you look at the pictures, he keeps turning up in like the background, and it's so funny because it was like the pictures the next day just look like we were all about to get kidnapped because he just keeps turning up behind everyone, like not even with them in the photo, but it just kept happening.
This
We were like,
sweaty pig man.
yeah, it was so funny. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are they in all the background of the pictures? It was so funny. No, I do remember that. So what did you think of some of the other traps? Because we've got here that a few of them actually worked. So the Venus flytrap, could actually slam shut, which I'm pretty sure that's the one at the beginning, which is fucking terrifying. So again, as someone with a massive fear of that, they'd have put that the one the guy was wearing
the
around his
Iron
neck,
Maiden.
the one with the hidden key, that Venus flytrap he had around his neck actually worked.
Yeah.
So fuck that. Like, no way would you put that on me if it was actually working.
I mean, that is essentially like an old school Iron Maiden, but just for the face. And I love that trap. Like, it's very, very classic.
It's a classic, but it's evil. It's
Fuck
just like
that. Yeah.
unsurvivable. Like, you're supposed to be able to survive these games. It just seems bullshit to me. Anyway, turning the key could cause the gun to fire. So that one worked, which again, especially nowadays, like, why the fuck would you have a live gun on set? Like, I'm really hoping those weren't real bullets. And the blades in the razor box trap could cut someone if they were metal. So obviously they weren't using real glass or metal or anything. But obviously the one where she puts her hand through them and gets her arm stuck, which as well, fucked up. Like, evil.
And that one is like no way really out of it as well, unless you like sort of feed it open with like your other, like, it's teamwork ones basically.
Again, it's teamwork. So you'd have needed a couple of people to hold it open for you. But it's just fucked up because I think as well, by the time they find that room, or she finds that room, I can't remember the character's name, she's so fucking gone on this bloody poison in her blood. Yeah. She was never going to figure that out. So that's not fair. And again, maybe I'm being like, life's not fair. But it's not. Like, again, the whole point of these games is that they're survivable. And that just wasn't, because she was Addison. Because she was just so far gone by that point. So what did they want from her?
Yeah, and she just naturally puts her other hand in it, and you're just like, oh, babe.
You go get stuck there, sausage. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But like, she didn't. Yeah, that's the only thing that annoys me. Again, is like, I like sausage, you little cocktail sausage. Like, I like the challenges that can be survived. This one feels like it was just meant to kill.
Yeah, there's really no like kind of like, oh yay, like, they can do this.
Like, again, the other one, and as we say, like, a lot of it I think did come down to teamwork, but they knew that wasn't going to happen. And
well, again, spoilers for a later movie, it's all about teamwork. But
the thing that annoys me as well,
two of them where it is all about teamwork and you can survive.
It's all about teamwork, but also it's all about teamwork. And then they literally reveal, you know, this one, the oven one, has to be survived through teamwork. Right after they also reveal that that's the guy that trapped them. So you're not exactly going to want to work with the guy who just kidnapped you. So again, it's setting up to fail. Like, can you imagine this as like a work day with your company? Like, company team building day, but just as you're about to, you know, help out as a team, you find out like that manager is about to crawl in the oven and your wage.
I'd love to work for a corporate company again that send you on these team building days, and they send you off to a sword trap house.
And but do you know what I mean? It's like, just find out the worst thing about the person you're about to have to try and help. Like, you are not going to want to help them. Absolute bullshit. Apparently, this film is 500% medically accurate.
So that means it was 5 times more accurate than the Human Centipede, which was marked as 100% medically accurate.
You better baseline, really. But like, I'm trying to figure out what was. Obviously, you need the injuries for medically accurate, and I guess how long the poison takes to kick in.
But yeah, the gas.
Yeah.
But
that was just a weird one.
And the Human Centipede, that was the thing that like got everyone, was that it was like 100% medically accurate, and that's what fucked everyone up.
I mean, it was, but it also was, because I think you were.
I haven't seen Human Centipede.
Oh, that will be one on our pod.
There you go. And again, spoilers for that. Like, from what I heard, but from what I heard, medically accurate wise, was yes, it was doable, but the back two people need to be on an IV drip.
Oh, okay. What, the middle and the back?
The middle and the back, because
the middle is a fucking.
The middle is the worst place you can
literally
be.
a shitter.
But like, yeah, and again, I'm not a doctor, so we'll need to look into that when we actually come out to do that one.
I love that when I like talk to you about these things, you're like, well, I'm not a doctor, but
it's
like,
so
as if
funny
I
to
think
say
you're a
that.
doctor.
I mean, that is going to be the title of this episode. I'm not a doctor. But...
Yeah, literally. Tell, as a doctor, what do you think?
As a non-doctor,
I've never said that to you ever.
That's right, Charlie. You missed last week when it was like, as not a murderer, like it's
I was like, I know this. We're having a chat about shit.
Do you know what'll be really funny? Well, it won't be funny, but it'll be you'll see this fucking sound footage. If I ever get done for murder, they're gonna pull sound footage from the podcast of me going, I'm not a murderer.
They will as well.
And now they'll pull this footage of me going, do you know what'll be really funny?
Oh God.
Oh God, delete everything, delete all evidence.
How do you feel about the little sneaky, somewhat cameo of the dead bodies from Saw 1 at the end of this one?
I love that.
That was cool.
I love you kind of
frozen body.
Yeah, like the foot was still there in the body, but I like it because obviously when they shut that door and it's like game over at the end of number 1, we're pretty sure that guy's dead. But this kind of confirms it. There was no like, oh, he did manage to escape. They like that's he died. He starved to death and turned to. But he was like rotten. Like he's been there a while. But hasn't Jigsaw been dying for a while? Like these timelines are getting longer and longer.
I suppose he's been like. I suppose in the first one he was like he couldn't have been that ill, Jigsaw, because he was like part of the trap. Because he was lying on the floor. He was like. So yeah, it kind of gives you a sense of the timeline. You could maybe think like, okay, he's got ill and that's fine. The body's rotten.
Yeah,
you sort of get that vibe, maybe.
Yeah, true.
But, but we don't know the exact timeline. We don't know how long he's been ill for.
No, and we yeah, so it's kind of hard to like put that timeline on it. Again, he's kind of inside. He was in the dark out of sunlight. I don't know if that does anything to help the body decompose. I'm not really sure. But I like
America, they are be very warm and humid and gross.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have been pleasant. But it also does say that the other guy, even though he promised, didn't come back.
Well, I feel like we come back to this. I think it's in the third movie.
Yeah, I think it is.
There's a little cameo there from Dr. Gordon, Dr. Lawrence.
Dr. Lawrence.
But like, he obviously was promised, I will definitely come back, that that guy.
Yeah, I think we come back to him for a brief moment.
So it does kind of, it does finish some questions, but also raise others.
And also for the use of police brutality in this one as well.
What did you make of him being Mark Wahlberg's brother?
Is it?
Yeah.
Donnie.
Are you kidding me? They look the same. Donnie Wahlberg.
He's in Dead Silence.
Oh. He is. Dead Silence, there is actually a reference. There is actually a reference to the that you see the Jigsaw doll at one point in it.
Yeah, I mean, he is very good at making himself cry. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
He can get pretty teary pretty easily.
And
that's always good.
It's always a handy skill as an actor to be able to cry on command.
But yeah, he had very watery eyes for a lot of this film.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he was worried. Okay, so again, not as a parent. Me and Katie, not parents.
Yeah.
Charlie, if you knew your little one was like in danger and Jigsaw was like, oh, the rules of the game, you just have to sit and talk to me for, what was it, an hour and a half? Do you think you could? Bearing in mind, you do know they're
going on trying to get her out of wherever she is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a savage.
So it's brutal, but
you're like fucking Jigsaw.
No, but I'm not actually going to do it to her. But like, no, but I just think it's like again, it's really easy for me to sit and watch the film and be like, you know, like if you know Jigsaw, you play by his rules. But when your kid's involved and when you're like emotionally attached, like that's what he's bagging on, is that you're not going to be able to just switch off your emotions.
And then leading you into your own trap as well by doing that. Yeah, no, fuck it. I'm in a Saw trap.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm leaving my little sausage.
You know, cocktail sausage.
My little cocktail sausage. No. A little pickle. No, not at all. I wouldn't be able to last that time. If I knew that there was a possibility that they found her location, that would be it. I would.
Make him.
Although he takes him there, doesn't he? Because he doesn't.
Yeah. So you would do everything that Detective Matthews did, basically.
Thing is, Jigsaw's got to drive. I can't drive, mate. So.
Well, I mean, in the case of the film,
you're nearly dying, but you'll have to drive.
I was gonna say, I think you'd just drive anyway. You've had enough lessons. You'd remember how to do it for the sake of your child.
Yeah.
Oh, I crashed in front of my house the last time I had a lesson. So.
Did you?
You crashed in front of your house. You conveniently didn't tell us this.
What?
Right, story time with Charlie.
Actually, all you said was it's my eye. I can't deal with it. You never said you crashed.
I mean, I also had that as well. So yeah. But one of my very last lessons, I did crash into a roundabout right outside of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't get a license. Maybe just stick to public transport.
£2 for a single ticket on the bus at the moment. It's great.
There you go.
Cheaper than petrol. Okay, so yeah, we've been a bit back and forth. I think a couple of the other facts I've seen.
Well, this one is quite interesting because I don't know if you guys know who Henry Rollins is, but I feel like
from 9 Inch Nails.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's from 9 Inch Nails, isn't he?
No, not 9 Inch Nails. That's Trevor Fraser.
Like really.
He's in bloody Wrong Turn.
Yeah,
Black Flag.
Black Flag, that's it.
Black Flag. So Henry Rollins.
So many films. Black Flag.
Yeah, he was in a Wrong Turn, but he was also supposed to be cast as Xavier in this.
Was he?
Yeah, which I think
he like cameo.
It's on the facts. You say, how do we know?
But I don't know if your partner knows this, but I'm sure he knows that he was in a Wrong Turn film. So we should probably ask him at some point.
Well, we might be watching Wrong Turn. Me and Katie are on for a long one tonight. We might be watching Wrong Turn later, so we'll find out.
But yeah, so he was supposed to play Xavier, which I think would have been quite a good.
Yeah,
I think it would have worked.
He's fit as well.
Really?
Yeah. It's like about him. Okay, you're both giving me disgust.
Really? No, there was some weird like football cheering or something coming from outside the window. Sorry.
Okay.
Whoa! And we were like,
Henry Rollins, are you serious?
He's bad. That's Cavill.
He's fit. But...
He's white.
I mean, yeah.
He's
62.
He's 62. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
okay, now he's actually even better for 62.
I suppose
he's a gilf.
That's not great. He actually is getting better with age. God damn it, men do this. They turn into like silver foxes.
Men do get better with age.
So frustrating. I mean, not all men. Some of them, get really
hashtag not all men.
Hashtag not all men.
Hashtag not all men.
Some of them get bald and have beer bellies and still don't grow out of their teenage misogyny. So, some of them don't get any better. Occasionally.
I wonder who pissed us off this.
So, yeah, that would have been really cool having him in there.
Yeah, I actually think it would have been a really good sort of addition. Sort of thing. I don't know how many other films he's been in. I know he's in Wrong Turn, but he seems like
he's in. I'm pretty sure he's in Ash vs Evil Dead as well.
Okay,
that's kind of cool.
Why do I not know all this?
Don't know, random facts, things you need to know. Okay, so other things I thought were quite cool was it was shot in just 25 days. I thought were quite cool. How is that cool that it was shot in like 3 weeks?
I know,
and 4 of those days were spent looking for needles.
and 4 of those days were spent looking for needles, so it would have taken them even less time. The whole film was shot in one building.
Cool.
And the whole Detective Matthews walks down to pick up his son at the security guard's office was actually a dressing room for the crew.
Nice.
Literally made use of fucking everything.
So it's still low budget, but
Yeah.
obviously a higher budget before.
I was looking at the budgets, the
budget
for each film.
Right, for DC Mac.
like, because I've got nothing fucking better to do, and I was looking at it, and no, this is a couple of weeks ago. No, so I was looking at the budgets, and yeah, they do obviously get like more and more and more, but some of them do slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
There's a few that are kind of like not as high as the others. So I mean 3D, I mean you throw everything at 3D, don't you? I mean Jesus Christ.
I think those glasses ain't cheap.
No. Yeah. Yeah, no, but the difference between this one and the first one is pretty big, I think.
So that's kind of cool because we've got as well actors who went for roles and didn't get them. Again, I'm getting a lot of these facts off IMDb, so if it's word for word, I do apologise. I am several glasses of wine in. So Lyric Bent originally auditioned for the role of Xavier as well. So apparently there's a lot of competition for this one role, but he was rejected because the makers didn't want to typecast an African American actor as a drug dealer, which is, I actually think, quite a smart decision.
So they went for Latino instead.
Actually, yeah, they didn't really help there, did they? He begrudgingly accepted the smaller role of Officer Rigg instead. However, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, since he was allowed by director Darren Lynn Bosman to use his own ideas in developing the character of Rigg, who was promoted from supporting to main character in Saw 4. So yeah, so I kind of like that it went from like, oh no, we don't want to do this, and actually kind of paid off in the end. This one's kind of cool. There were 5 alternate endings which they shot, but to keep it all a secret, like what the ending was going to be, most of the actors were not given the last 25 pages of the script, so only the principal actors involved in the sequence knew. So again, I wonder if like the Amanda actress knew, or maybe she didn't, and that's why she acted so extreme, because she was acting, and then they gave her the script, and she was like, oh, cool, I'm actually here. So yeah, only some of them knew. But I like that they also then did like 5 alternate endings and then see which one either went with the script or which one was most popular, I guess.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I've heard before as well that there was different endings shown in like the preview viewings where they were like what like the audience reaction is.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I'm not sure if I know it's done for quite a few movies, but maybe one of them was used for. Or like maybe 3 of them were used for this, and then obviously they just chose the best like audience reaction or something. Maybe
it's really annoying when it gives you like half a fact. You're like, well, what was done with these? What was done with all these endings? No, that's
like bloody Lord of the Rings. There's like 25 hours of unseen footage still in Peter Jackson's little cabinet. Like, let me see it.
So anyway, yes. So as I say, I feel like this has been quite a brief one. We haven't got loads to talk about. There's only a few traps we really give a shit about, it sounds like.
Basically, needle pit.
Basically the needle pit. And yeah. So Charlie, would you survive? I suppose that's our real question. Would you survive Saw 2? I'm going to go with the maze, not what I'm calling the maze, the like house, a group of people trapped in the room, rather than the thing at the beginning, like the solo trap.
Yes, I would survive.
How? Why?
Because I'm the youngest one, therefore I'd be basically the role of the young boy, so therefore I'd win. Okay, cool.
No, but wouldn't there be a teenage child in there?
I would act in place of that.
You're young, Charlie. You're not that fucking young.
I don't know. Yeah, I would. Fuck it.
How?
I don't fucking know. I just would, wouldn't I?
You can even Dracula, where we
she doesn't listen.
Called her out.
How would you survive? How would you get an antidote? Which of those do you think you'd have managed to get the antidote from?
Well, in the pit of needles, in the
Right.
pit, they give her the needle with the key on the end, but that one's also meant to be an antidote. But you don't see Xavier take the antidote at all for himself, so I'd nick that. You have to rewatch it.
It's on YouTube.
I don't know what you even mean by the one with the key on the end.
So they had to find a needle with the key on the end, which is also an antidote. There was 2 antidotes in that pit. One of them had the key to get out.
No, hang on. So the antidote isn't on that key though. Isn't in that needle. It's behind the door. So that's what the
I
voice
thought the door was
recording.
an escape.
No, there is something in that needle. It like glows green, which is how I think she found it in the pit. But the recording says, "Can you get the key and open the door to get the antidote?" So the antidote's in the room.
Oh, I thought it was in one. I thought that
I don't
was an
know
escape.
what you're injecting yourself with that glow in the dark paint. It's like a fucking glow stick.
Over here for me. Give me them mutations.
This is what I was like. I don't know how you're. I was like, I do not remember there being like a needle with.
Fuck it then. I'm surviving through crack that I've just injected myself with. I'm gonna be on a fucking high for like next 3 hours, and then I'll somehow survive.
I'm pretty sure
the door
that's
2 hours.
fucking glow stick that's just been like pumped into Charlie.
I'd just be radioactive. It'd be great. That's how I'm surviving. Anyway, how about you, Katie?
For sure.
I suppose you would survive the needle pit, wouldn't you?
Mm.
It would suck, but you'd survive it.
Yeah.
But then, yeah. Wow. I mean, if we're going by the first trap, then it's not going to happen. So
no, we're not going by that one. We're going by the group one.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think in my head, like with the hand through the glass thing, I'm not sure I'd use my other hand because I'd be like, okay, like this is my hand that I need.
Yeah.
My good hand.
It's my good hand.
My good hand, child. But I don't know. You know what? It might be another no, even though I've kind of been on a bit of a confident streak recently. I don't know. I think one of those traps would get me at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe the glass one, maybe the fire one.
I'm too fat for that oven. I mean, I'd make a delicious steak, but I'm not fitting out of that other door.
Well, what others were there?
I was trying to remember. It doesn't, like, now we're talking through it. It doesn't seem like there were that many. Or I just
there was only 3 in that house, and then obviously having to survive until.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to die of the
gas.
Yeah. So I think the needle pit is survivable, but I'm not sure about the others. So I'm going to say no to this one. What do you think, Tal?
I agree with you. I think I'm very much Addison in this, where I think I'd have every intention to survive. I'd be really fuck that. Like if everyone was being a dickhead, I'd be like, nah, fuck it. I'm on my own. I'll go and like sort my shit out. But I think, unfortunately, the way my brain works, I think I'd be too, especially if I was like dying and starting to lose my mind, I would have looked at that trap and just gone, put your hands in. I wouldn't have taken the extra time to actually think it through.
Yeah.
So
and like you say, she was also like consumed by this toxic.
Yeah, she wasn't in her right state of mind. No. So I think, unfortunately, I think I'd have lost it to the hand one, because I think I'd have just, especially at that point, I'd have been loopy. The only difference I think that would have made us survive, and I do say us because if we were put in there as a group of like people we knew and liked, rather than a group of and I think that's the big part, isn't it? It's a group of strangers who you're not going to trust. If you were in there with a group of people you liked, it would be more like an escape room at the beginning. And also because, like, if I saw a number on the back of your neck, I know you don't have a tattoo on the back of your neck. I know that was out of place. Where if you spotted that on someone, you don't know them. You could assume they've always had that. So I think that's...
What would you do if I turn around and I had a tattoo on the back of my neck?
Yeah, like at that point, I'd be like, right, we have got a problem to solve. But at that point you can start putting it all together and you can start figuring out and you have a chance of survival. But again, you're relying on the fact that Jigsaw's not a dick and he's put you and 8 of your friends together. But realistically, that's not going to happen. And the problem is when you're with strangers, you don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah.
And obviously, in this case, a lot of them go violent or silent, neither of which really help in this situation. Optimistic
What about you?
on that one.
Also, I
So-
mean, sorry, this is going back to the plot a little bit. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But also to like put that the fact that like not everyone did, but there was like it was insinuated that everyone was going to put the blame on the kid because of who his dad was, and it's just like you can't help who help who your dad is, but everyone's going to just like go for him. So but I find that hard to believe because I don't think all of them would.
No, Xavier definitely would. I don't know about Addison because she did have a bit of a mean streak. I do kind of love her, but the evil fucking bald guy got in the oven. I don't know. I don't trust him. Whereas a couple of the others,
and then Amanda, obviously, as we know at the end, had a run-in with him, obviously, because she had like the whole vendetta was against him.
But it was all like planted evidence as well, wasn't it? So it wasn't even just like
so he was
his dad was the cop. He was a dirty cop, so it makes it so much worse. Yeah, it's just really fucked
that's
up.
another bit to add, but yeah, it's interesting.
No, it is interesting, but it is also, again, that brings us back to how could Jigsaw guarantee that kid's safety? I even put a photo in there to be like father and son. Like he was hoping they were going to go for him, which is awful.
Like, I know, it doesn't make any sense.
How was he guaranteeing this kid's safety? Amanda was not enough in my mind. I know she did succeed, but she was not a guarantee.
Thing is, by the time it got round to it was already Xavier that there was the Addison. So she obviously found out about it. She was just like, you know what, just fuck it, like fuck off. I don't want to deal with you. I'm in a shit place right now. Xavier was the only one that went after him. But then again, like we didn't really mention as well, like the blonde-haired girl.
Oh yeah.
We don't know anything about her really, apart from that she just dies in the corridor.
I can't remember why she said she went to prison.
She doesn't. This annoyed me for years that I looked it up. She said that she had been in prison, but she never said what for.
Doesn't say why, no.
They even do it on like the Saw Wikipedia thing. And then the first guy as well, who obviously we don't find out anything about him because he gets shot in the head straight away.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's a goner.
That was easy.
So
yeah.
I'm kind of gutted as well with the blonde-haired girl why they didn't give her anything else apart from she was just a fragile one that was just.
Yeah, no, she was just there to die.
Well, and to the fact that you'd seen the bald guy before.
Oh yeah,
that was literally her only thing.
No, that's true. Oh. We'll go in then, Charlie. So, what's your spook and how many spooks? Now that we've just done a quick blitz through them all.
Oh shit. Fuck. I think my spook has to be Amanda at the we don't know it's Amanda at the end, but the first appearance of the pig at the end. I love that.
Yeah, it was cool.
And also back in that first room from the first movie, I love that all. And then my spooks out of 5, shit, I'm gonna give it a 4 spooks. As I said, like obviously I love the first movie as like a standalone movie, but this one is definitely, I think, the most creative in terms of storyline, but also works as well as a sequel. I think the budget definitely helped it. The things that lets it down is the fact that it is very like 2000s-y in the way some of it is shot. And there is obviously a few loopholes that I've just sort of covered, like we don't find out about the blonde-haired girl and like she doesn't have a trap there for her, and it's just a bit wishy-washy in that sense. But yeah, no, I'm going to give it a 4. I happily would watch this, and I do watch this movie, not regularly, but I like watching this movie. I enjoy it.
Nice. What about you, Katie?
I'm gonna give it a. Well, I was debating giving it 2.5, but I think I'm gonna give it a 3 because it is a solid film, and I think I'd watch it again. It is one of the better Saw films I've seen, so yeah, for that reason. And I think my spook would actually be right at the end. I really loved it when you see Jigsaw John Kramer in the car, and he's really beaten up to shit, but he smiles, and then the camera sort of pans out, and then you've got the music. I thought that was a really cool way to end the film.
Yeah.
So actually, I think that's my favorite bit of the whole film. I think it's
right. The last 5 seconds.
Is it like obviously a lot of it was it's all of it was good, but I think that bit was really effective.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And it was a really cool way to because you sort of feel sorry for John Kramer in a bit, but then when you see the ending, you realize how like even more you sort of fall for his illness a bit more, and you kind of fall for it a bit, but then at the end when you see how sadistic and fucks up he is, it's a really cool ending. So yeah, I think that'll be my spook. But yeah, I think after a while, after talking about it with you guys, I'd give it a 3. Yeah, nice. What about you?
I'm gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I do quite like it. I like the gore. I like the almost fucking hate the eye. But I almost love the simplicity of the horror, and like how, do you know what I mean? The idea of getting locked in an oven is something we've heard since childhood. I think I even mentioned Hansel and Gretel last week.
You did.
But like that fucking story of like a witch cooking in the oven, we've known that since childhood, but then seeing it is horrific. Like the idea of getting thrown in a needle pit and getting your arms stuck above your head, bleeding. But they're such simple horrors, but they're fucking terrifying. But I think my spook is going to be the eye bit right at the beginning. So I'm going to go complete opposite to you, go right to the beginning. But again, that's a personal horror. Just again, I was just watching this going, if this was how would we survive every aspect of this film, I'd have been dead in the first 10 minutes. Because yeah, like that takes far too long to build up the courage for that. Fuck that trap. Oh, it's horrible. So yeah, that would be mine. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Nice.
Thank you, sweetie. Amazing. That was Saw 2, this week's film. Join us again in a couple of weeks for the next episode, and check us out on all the socials to see what we're up to and see what our film's going to be next time. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Go over. Die.
Yeah, don't fuck with